Tinkaton is an all-new Pokemon released in Scarlet and Violet, a small pink creature wielding a ginormous hammer. This Pokemon caught the eyes of gamers everywhere, and could be described as a smash hit. The humorous visual design of Tinkaton, as well as the sheer physical strength required to carry such a large hammer, has made it one of the most iconic and fan-favorite new additions to Gen 9. But can this Pokemon hit the nail on the head when it comes to its viability in the competitive singles environment? Let's take a look at what Tinkaton can offer to a competitive team. But first, I would like to remind you all that dangerous Pokemon Iron Mugulus is still out there, and is specifically targeting people who are not subscribed to the JimCool channel. An impressive 33% of you watching right now are safe from Iron Mugulus, which is fantastic news. However, a concerning 66.5% of you are in very serious danger. I strongly advise liking this video and subscribing to the channel to ensure your safety. Thank you for understanding. Tinkaton's stats are pretty below average for Gen 9, but it at least has a solid special defense stat. Tinkaton does make up for these stats pretty well in other areas. Tinkaton has a Fairy Steel type combination, which is one of the absolute best defensive typings in the entire game. With only 2 weaknesses, valuable immunities to Dragon and Poison, and an impressive 9 resistances, this typing definitely offsets Tinkaton's poor stats quite a bit, and gives it some real defensive value. Tinkaton also has the excellent ability Mold Breaker. This ability will make your moves completely ignore enemy abilities. One great advantage of this ability is that you can use Stealth Rock and not worry about a Pokemon with Magic Bounce reflecting the rocks back onto your side of the field. You can also use status moves like Thunder Wave on Pokemon that would otherwise be immune due to their abilities, like Garganicle and Goldengo. Tinkaton also has an excellent support move pool. I've already mentioned Stealth Rock and Thunder Wave, but there's also Knockoff, one of the best moves in the game that not many Pokemon have access to anymore in Gen 9. And of course there's Tinkaton's signature move, Gigaton Hammer. This is a Steel-type physical attack with 100 accuracy and an absolutely enormous 160 base power. The drawback of this move is that it can't be used 2 times in a row. Although Tinkaton doesn't have a very good attack stat, the sheer power of this move definitely makes up for that, and it can be extremely threatening. The drawback isn't too bad either. Tinkaton doesn't need to use this move every single turn when it has so many other useful moves at its disposal. So despite below average stats, Tinkaton has fantastic qualities in other areas, with an amazing type combination, ability, and move pool. Unfortunately, these positive qualities aren't quite enough for Tinkaton to be ranked in OU. Despite great typing, Tinkaton struggles defensively in Gen 9 OU due to the high power level of its most powerful threats. Great Tusk being everywhere and directly threatening to one-hit KO Tinkaton doesn't help either. Tinkaton can still sometimes fit on OU teams due to its unique type profile and the ability to create Stealth Rock without worrying about Magic Bounce Hatteran. Before Chien-Pao was banned, Tinkaton was actually a pretty nice anti-meta Pokemon. Choice banned Chien-Pao and Hatteran were a common combination. Chien-Pao was weak to Stealth Rock, but Hatteran would help to shield the team from Stealth Rock. Tinkaton not only resisted both of Chien-Pao's stab types, it could also create Stealth Rock against Hatteran, which made it a nice counterpick against these popular teams at the time. In the current OU metagame, Tinkaton is not very useful and doesn't quite fit. However, in UU, it's one of the absolute best Pokemon in the entire format. Tinkaton is kind of like the Great Tusk of UU. Its excellent defensive typing and fantastic utility move pool make it very easy to fit on teams, and because of this, it's the #1 most used Pokemon in the format at the moment. In this lower power level environment, Tinkaton's defensive traits can really shine, especially with a smaller amount of common ground types. Although ground types like Gastrodon, Toedscruel, and Sandy Shocks are quite common in UU, they're not nearly as threatening as something like Great Tusk. Gigaton Hammer also gives you some really nice damage output for a Pokemon that is primarily used for its defensive utility. Swords Dance sets can even be used in UU to take full advantage of that damage output, and sometimes even break through enemy teams and win the game. I've been playing a lot of UU recently, and I'd recommend giving it a go if you want something different and fresh. New Gen 9 Pokemon like Tinkaton, Sandy Shocks, and Wo-Chien, who are almost never used in OU, can really shine in this lower power level environment. Overall, I think Tinkaton is a well-designed Pokemon. I get the feeling that they put some real thought into all the traits of this Pokemon, from its typing to its moveset. It's an enjoyable Pokemon to use, and a reliable choice in the UU metagame that helps give that format a bit of stability. What do you think of Tinkaton? How does this Pokemon have the physical strength to hold that hammer all the time? Where did the hammer come from? And what would you like me to talk about next? Let me know down below in the comments, and thank you for watching. Thank you to the patrons. Become a patron to appear on this fun end screen alongside your favorite Pokemon, as well as various other rewards such as video requests.
The money got different, cause of what I'm spending. The money got different,
Oh, it's
cause of what
Megaphone!
I'm spending.
Oh,
The money
KO
got
by
different,
one hit! It
cause
scattered
of what I'm
spikes!
spending. The money got different.